rebel! Cawed the Raven captain over the loud hailer. Renato could see them cranking up their catapults. Just go held back. Where can you run? Laughed the Raven horribly. Far behind him, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was thousands of Imperial ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job. Take us to the rebel base! I will spare your life! It cawed. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven. A sea of endless blood-colored tornadoes. The rebellion was out of time. Unless Renato could bring a game-changer. Maybe he could. Renato had found out where he could find the pieces of the sky.
Mas o tem cabeça de cobra, 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 corra, Abel, cobra, cobra. Olha lá. Bora amanhã ver o jogo com o trifásico.
If Renato could only rescue him. Renato dived the far towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off. Not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose.
Não, ele está a dizer para irmos a um café qualquer.
Sky River.
Mas não destes. Não faz sentido. Sim. Ver o Sporting, se faz favor. Não sei. Já não me lembro que horas é que ele disse. Às 7 não é? O jogo é às 6.
Every child knew about the Sky River. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces. What could have brought them to light? This Emperor, Isengrim III, had once been kind, but he'd gone mad. And now he was conducting secret, obscene rituals to bring back the lost gods. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the Earth? It was more than Renato could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it.
Já viste? O jogo.
As he set foot on the island, Renato could not help but feel a tinge of guilt.
Foda-se.
He'd left Lapino behind.
Já tinha.
The mad rabbit had somehow escaped the ravens. He hoped they hadn't eaten him. If
Tá
they
não
had, he hoped they hadn't eaten him alive. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Renardo never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends.
Que isso?
That was against his nature. Could he stick with it?
Passou a altura, minha senhora. Yeah.
Que isso?
Maior jogo. É um que deram no Plus. Tipo.
If I craft a sword now, it's going to be really short.
Só comi um. Cada dia.
Olha. Tu comeste?
Eu comi um!
Tu comeste 7. Tu tens que dizer, não comi um, isto era teu.
Isso te garanto, eu meti um.
Meteste um aonde? No cu?
Não, na tua cona. Vaca.
Tu disseste eu meti um sem querer.
Não foi sem querer, foi de propósito.
Disseste de propósito, meti um.
Não. Não falo contigo.
Estou a tentar no sério, estás a ficar com
Eu é que estou a entrar no Angsunamu.
Ui,
Está aqui.
o que é que ela anda a fazer?
Estava a fazer um blow.
Estás a jogar o quê, estúpido?
Ah, vai jogar Crash.
Tá. Eu comprei um comer.
Claro.
Aí, vou jogar. Diz a ele que amanhã vou lá dormir.
Ela amanhã vai dormir, mano. Foi ela que disse.
Huh? A lever? That was new.
Não.
Most people still use doorknobs.
É? Não tudo.
The people who had built this castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legends say.
Acho que não.
As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the Lost Gods, thousands and thousands had died. But Renato had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one. He wasn't that good. Yet.
Reza a lenda para que não te borres. Eu vou calado.
Hero Wall, Hero Sword, Ice Wall, Ice Cube.
Não tens mais espada.
Come over here.
Yupi! Yupi!
Tinhas precisado daquilo que...
coisas aqui ao modo. Isto tem vida de banco. Isto tem que sonar a mão. Посвети на дна, ще ризиков. Não sei se saquei tudo. Ler. A miúda é parva, tá com cretina, ela cheira. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, miúda, leva o bulical. Trau, trau.
These things could really use a hand.
Mas o cheiro a couve, 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 couve. Ela cheira a uva bruta. Não sei, deve ser cara, eu acho. Aposto que é caro, caro.
Can't we just agree to disagree? Said Renato. No?
É as novas cartas. Só.
Ah, a puzzle. Renato loved puzzles. Except when he couldn't figure them out. On the other hand, if there was a puzzle, it was probably meant to keep people away from something good.
Tem.
Renato's blood was up. He just needed to smash something.
Mas eu quero pau, pau. Mas eu quero é pau. Já teve 10 caras donos. Foda-se, está bem arredado. Aquele americano que eu comprei só teve um dono.
Starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember. was. Skyripper's armature. The stuff that dreams are made. Engineers' dreams, anyway. The device was intricate. No one alive had the skill to make a thing like it. How was it part of a weapon at all?
Foda-se, este jogo só é chato porque falam bué, mano. Está sempre a abrir livros e a contar histórias.
Skyripper had a heart. A core that had come to rest on the next island. Well, there was another island he could reach. Zenobia had just invaded it with her father's Raven battalions. She must be encamped there still. But fighting Zenobia now, that made no sense at all. He'd already sacrificed one friend to get this armature, was it? He didn't need to hurry to face her. She would find him. It was a no-brainer. He'd sacrificed his old friend Lapino to get the armature. And the armature was useless by itself, only a series of coils and wheels. War demanded sacrifices, and he would make more before the end. He would have to choose the greatest good, no matter how much it cost him. Zenobia.
Nunca usei a ligar uma.
He would see her sooner or later, across a battlefield or a sword's point before all was over. He was sure of that. The power was in the core. Obviously, he had to
Mete-lhe
get
uma
the
de
core.
âncora. Dá-lhe velocidade, mais defesa, mais físico. Ou uma de sombra. Essa merda das cartas de química é bem importante, afinal. Oh, preta, não.
He
Vieste
looked up at
onde?
the old trees around him. They were so big and so old. They'd be there
Pretinho.
before he was born, and they'd be there after he'd passed into legend.
Pretinho.
Was he
Aí,
confronting
Tico,
his
já
own
tens o
unimportance?
pandinha.
What had got into him?
Ele já acordou, só
He was no
de sentir por perto.
Anyway, who cares? He was plenty important. He was a hero, and soon he'd prove it.
O gajo é que anda vendido. Ou não? É? Foi ali lamber o Snowy para o Snowy depois o lavar. Tipo, ele faz isso de propósito. Chega lá, lava, dá-lhe tipo 2 lambidelas e depois o Snowy fica a lavá-lo bué da tempo. Ah, ir buscar o outro lado, né?
Who needed bridges anyway?
Não, não. É para... Acho que é para o clube. Oh, então é para vendas, para teres mais jogadores para poderes vender. Mais passos.
And this is why heroes are called dashing, Renato thought. See? Dashing? Get it?
Vendidos. Lá vai o ouvido ao Snowy. Sabe o que ele quer?
I wonder what I could make with all these sword crafting materials.
Queres pau?
Fortunato.
Por que queres pau?
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time.
Foda-se, já ganhei para uns 5 troféus, mano, neste jogo. Esta merda tem bué. Tem bué da... Ai... Cara, esqueci uma palavra. Tem bué coisas aqui, ó. Troféu. É.
Where did that go to? There were fewer and fewer trees. There were only these huge crystalline growths. Had those been here before? He no longer heard birds except for the feverish cawing of the ravens when they attacked. He couldn't smell the small animals, the mice and rabbits. Where had they gone?
Olha, senão
And he was getting
parece
hungry
floquito de
This was
cão.
an unhealthy place to be. He missed his old skills. He welcomed them back like it was at a reunion.
Vá, deita-te aí, minha puta branca. Deita, panda. Ele dava-te a chatear, vieste para aqui para cima. Mesmo, mano? Chateou tanto que ele vai se deitar aqui em cima. Hã? É. Isso aí vai dar chinado aos gajos. Yeah, é fixe. Dá para curtir. Mais troféu. Uhul!
The 20-sided core made him feel physically sick. Once he had sneaked into a temple of the dark arts, and he hadn't liked what he smelt and saw there. This felt like that. As quick as he could, he wrangled the icosahedron into the armature. The wheels began to spin, then glow. The sick feeling quickly spun away.
Não, gato,
Now he only
bufaste.
felt sad. He had lost good
És um
friends to this
relaxado
war
do caralho.
apparatus. He carried his prize back to the Farfarer. Now he had to make his
Esta
next move.
merda.
There was a key Imperial outpost on the Nexus. If this really was some sort of super weapon, he could use it to wreak havoc on the enemy. And if it wasn't, well, better to know that before the final battle. But maybe he should show it to some scientists first. There was an observatory on the Nexus. Maybe he should go there before he fired it. Of course. If you've just assembled a weapon out of legend that can exile gods from the world, you'd want to have a scientist or two look at it. And even if they disagreed and he had time, he could ask Calaveras himself. Yes, the observatory would be his objective.
Então foi o anão que foi cagar aqui fora. Anda cá, pandinha. Cheira a merda, caralho. Se calhar o alentejano veio. Ih, que cheira a bosta, senhor.
Why had the parts of the Sky Ripper only surfaced now? Thousands of years after the
Costa.
Transcendent Emperor
É o
had
Douglas.
dismantled it. The mad Emperor Isengrim had performed terrible,
É a
bloodthirsty
máquina que há
rituals to
bocado
invoke
joguei
the
com o
lost
André.
gods. Was that why these ancient artifacts were rising out of the ground? How perfect, then, that the Sky Ripper would reappear to be his destruction. It was good to practice your moves, thought Renato. Keeps you limber.
Oh, não fudilhão. Yeah. Cheiras a bosta, não. Foda-se. Cheira a merdão. Ainda vais para aqui ronronar. Depois te pisco com cheiro a merda. Nossa Senhora desde a Eva, cheiras a merda de um cão. Chup.
It was time to make a new sword.
Como assim? É.
wondered if he could learn to cook this way. Probably not. A legendary weapon was exactly what the rebellion needed. They were outnumbered. The once kind emperor had become a tyrant. But his ravens stayed loyal, for he fed them his victims, and the other animals were too frightened to rebel. Renato shuddered at what the emperor was trying to do. To bring back the lost gods, the Black Harvest, the Black Sun? No. He would stop that toad no matter what the risk. He'd found a Superman issue #1 in mint condition in a jar he'd broken. He planned to keep breaking things until he had the whole series. Sword from the south was terrific for barbecuing sausages and ravens.
Okay. Okay.
Sharp? Check.
Deve ser caro.
Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword? He'd once met a pirate captain who used hooks to get around his ship. What was his name again? Renato hated warlocks, the way they stayed back and loved pain and death from a distance. Cowards. Really dangerous, effective cowards. Don't be shy. joy.
Chupa! Já estás em que nível, Master? Ah, tu ainda estás no fifth.
Take a leap of faith, said the inscription.
Bem-vindo ao FIFA Ultimate. Tudo caro. Tudo bué de foda.
Renato was thrilled. The scientists seemed to think he'd put the Sky Ripper to... But one toad was worried.
Yeah, the Sky Ripper could carve a hole in existence itself. There are invisible strings that tie the universe together. If the Sky
Olá,
Ripper cut
folhão
one,
de
the hole would
peluches.
widen and
Como
widen until
peluche
our whole
enquanto borras
existence
tudo.
fell into it.
Another toad sighed.
Irving still believes in string theory.
Passa-se quando não está a dar
At least go
pirafo
see
no uso.
Calaveras.
Yeah, said the worried toad.
He knows more than anyone else has forgotten about the Transcendent Emperor.
If anyone could tell him how to use this weapon safely, it would be Calaveras. It was he who had told Renato how to find it in the first place. But maybe he had to give up on using it as a weapon. Maybe he had to go to the secret rebel base and ask the generals there what he could do with a weapon that he dared not use.
Yeah.
Renato was about to leave when he was stopped by one of the scientist toads.
There is something else you should know.
Dr.
There
Bio.
are rumors the Ravens are searching for an ancient artifact on a nearby desert island. There are legends of something called the Iblis Stone, a gem of great and evil power.
Where is this island? Asked Renato.
Yeah, sort of that way?
Said the toad, pointing vaguely west. The fleet was already there. There was nothing Renato could do about it. For the moment. Well, he should have known he'd have to consult Calaveras again. The scientists at the observatory were smart enough. But what did they know of the Transcendent Emperor? He hoped it wouldn't delay him too long. The rebels had scheduled the final battle soon. Every day they delayed risked the exposure of the secret base. And some soldiers were already drifting back to their homes and families. Calaveras would fix the Sky Ripper for him. And then he would win the final battle. Maybe it was the cold. But after a few steps, Renado's optimism started to slump. What if Calaveras couldn't help? Did Renado dare use the Sky Ripper? Oh, he hated that he had chosen this path. It was so much simpler to rescue friends and attack enemies. Even if some of those friends were more trouble than his enemies, some of those enemies had been friends before and might be lovers after. No, okay, it wasn't all that much simpler, no. Physics made his brain hurt. That, at least he was sure of. Renado wondered idly if people who had built these poles had really, really long tentacles. Teach you how to fly.
Yeah. Sabes porquê? Sabes porquê? Não sei. Yeah. Alex. Não ajuda.
Barely landed a claw on him.
É? É. Então, fugiram todos. Só daste tu. Foda-se. Venham amigos, assistam. Me ajuda.
Beautifully.
Não percebi.
It was a bard when you needed one.
Se calhar nunca fizeste ligação.
There was a sign. Take
Esta
the
não
goat
é mesmo
across
chover.
first.
Vai foder. O mal é fodas. Quer comer o urso à força? Caralho, é
Tried
sempre
to
a
focus on them
foder.
now. The ravens who seemed everywhere all the time. Where did they hatch from? Were there giant raven hatcheries somewhere, or did they have families? He didn't want to think about
Mas é
raven
bocadinho
mummies raising
fácil
their
o
darling
jogo.
raven chicks. Yeah, Calveras would help. He would make Renado feel better about using the Sky Ripper. And then Renado wouldn't have to worry about ravens ever
Ainda não
again.
percebi o que é que anda atrás de mim, mas está-se bem.
Renado's paws were getting numb. Calaveras really didn't want company, did he?
O que é aquilo? Isto é a merda que anda atrás de mim. Ah, é. É uma merda que anda sempre atrás de mim, ainda não percebi o que é. Não ataca nada.
Sometimes, Renato really hated inanimate
Eu não sei.
objects.
Acho que é um cão. Uhul! Onde? Gelo, gelinho.
The rebels were counting on Renato. He hoped Calaveras knew what he was doing.
Sei lá, mano. Tá lá no... Não tá aqui? Tá na sala? Não se nota. Mas é logo.
Sometimes, at home, he'd wave his sword around for hours.
Gestão da raiva. Que é essa merda? Destrua 100 objetos inanimados. Ah, é uma raiva. Atrasa o tempo após uma neutralização. Bem.
Calaveras had never let him down.
Yeah, of course I can make it work better.
But when Renato explained about the strings, Calaveras grew thoughtful.
Oh, strings, you say? Well, the Arcana do speak of the ties that bind the world.
He drew many intricate symbols in the dirt.
Yeah, so, according to my calculations, each time you fire, I'm afraid there's a 1 in 120 chance you'll destroy the universe.
That's pretty good odds. That's like rolling, what, 21 dice and they all come up 6. What are the odds of that?
What? No! It's more like 2.716s in a row.
Anyway, with those odds, it won't happen if I use it just once.
Yeah, no, that's not right. Each time you use it... Okay, look, just don't use it ever.
All right, I guess. As he sailed away from the mountains, Renato could see clouds darkening. Rain? No. Ships. Imperial ships, swarming thick as bees. This was it. The big battle. They could not afford to lose this one. What if it did not go well? What if he had to use the Sky Ripper? Could he gamble the universe? On the other hand, what were the odds of rolling 21 sixes in a row?
Mazuriano, filho de esclimói.
The battle was not going spectacularly well. What had the rebels been thinking? They'd been thinking he would bring the Sky Ripper, or the Iblis Stone, or that he'd sideline Zenobia somehow, or turn her. Couldn't he use the Sky Ripper just once? After all, if chances were 1 in 128, that meant he'd for sure be okay the first time. They'd get worse each time he used it, but the first time would be okay, right? He wasn't sure that it was right. So he didn't fire the Sky Ripper. He just brought it along, in case. Sometimes, all you know is what you know. You know? Ooh, sparkly, thought Renardo. If they didn't want their things broken, they really ought to make them stronger. Said the lead raven. Surprisingly unwounded. Put a railing on this thing, he thought. Someone had told him the odds didn't change just because you'd had a streak of good luck. His gut told him that was wrong, though. And he always listened to his gut. On the other hand, 128 chances to win, but one of them would destroy the universe. That seemed a bit serious. Maybe he could defeat the Emperor without firing the Sky Ripper. Maybe he could bluff, but with a real weapon. Like in cards, when you had 3 knaves, but you pretended you had a fizbin. That could work. Renata felt a little better. Look down, he thought.
Oh, mas outro, cala a boca. Cala a boca.
He set up the Sky Ripper and let it warm up. He would bluff if he had to. Came out, flanked by a very daunting platoon of ravens. You won't actually use that. she said in that annoying, I know everything because I'm a cat and you know nothing because you're just a fox voice she had. Or I know the odds. Good. Because there's a real chance you could destroy the universe. No, not the first time I use it. The odds are too low. What? No? Yeah, sure. The first time, the odds are practically nothing. They only go up if I use it a bunch more times. No, but that's not how odds work. Didn't you pay attention in class? Now surrender, or I'll use it. Just once, he said. Don't. He felt sure the odds were with him. You have to go with his gut. That's what heroes do. Fire, he said. Please? The Skyripper fired. With a tremendous whoosh, the Emperor's flagship went up in flames. It was awesome. Then he noticed there was a hole in the air. A blackness, like a tear in a parchment. Wind was blowing into it, widening it. It grew larger, and even larger. Crates fell upwards into it, and the world itself seemed bent, like the reflection on a curved mirror, as it poured into the ravenous hole. Ah, 1 in 128. What are the odds? Thought Reynardo. And then everything fell into the hole and was gone. Okay, that was weird. He could have sworn he just died. Instead, he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar. And it was still burning. He'd fled burning Ubar years ago, hadn't he? And now he was back there. Had all those years fighting the Empire been nothing but a vision into the future? A useful vision if it was true.
As lendas.
He'd learned something. The core was powerful, but dangerous if used
Cartas
improperly.
lenda, mano.
He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make
Não
those
dá.
choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his
As
adventure was
lendas
just beginning.
fodida, bué.
The clouds parted over the Isles of
Eu
Boreas.
nem sei, já é blip.
It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Skyripper had surfaced. Reynardo knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong. But he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Skyripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Reynardo.
Oh,
On the other
Clash of
hand,
Clans.
his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Lapino was no game
Outra
changer.
vez.
Did Reynardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens? Ah, Lapino. Apparently, the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time. But he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse. Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen the winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the
Acho que é um
prison?
lençol.
The village was empty.
Não é um lençol.
Had everybody fled the ravens?
Não. Nem penso.
Sim, dá-me.
Sai, não seja chata.
His mother had never let him wave his sword around at home. He
Cala.
guessed he was still compensating for that.
Deus, mas não gosta. Eu sei que tu és muito religioso, vais à
Ai,
igreja.
caralhinho, caralhinho, caralhinho.
Diz isso ao senhor padre, não? Não lembro desse jogo.
Também. Lembra-se de coisas que nunca viu.
Não vai parecer com o jogo antigo. Da mesma altura que...
The ravens had taken the town. Renato had seen villages emptied like this. All the people taken away to be sacrificed in the Emperor's secret rituals. Renato hoped the people were just hiding. Renato, smash! Renato looked around the empty village and reflected. The Sky Ripper had turned out to be far too dangerous to be used. Time to turn to what knew best.
Por que disseste conhecer? Tipo,
That's my order, thought Renato. Such a wit.
pelo poder dos poponacos.
Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky.
Marini!
They seldom forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to?
Pois. Não,
Neste umzinho, ou penso que eu compro uma cera lá para a minha mãe?
não.
Eu sei que tu achas muito dessas papas de criança.
Eu
Quer
sei
dizer
que tu gostas de andar com o rabo cagado.
Tens o rabo cagado?
Tu.
Eu tenho ali para talco. Não tenho é dodote. Mas amanhã eu compro umas fraldas para ver.
Então.
Bora?
Renato felt like he was ready to learn new
Não.
things.
Quer dizer, tu chateias-me,
didn't have to go
quer
to
dizer que eu
school
vou
for
à
that.
cozinha buscar as coisas e te sirva.
Tá chata?
Ah, adivinhei, né? Para não responderes.
Não.
Cabeça de nabiça. Anda, senão vou-te infernizar o jogo. Sim? Pronto, já passou, anda.
Sai, Aski.
Aski!
Ai, tu és uma coisa tão chata. Acha? Nem que te borres toda. Este jogo não resulta, é isso?
Those sheep were very well made, weren't they?
Chupa, Miguel!
Mas viste tentando.
Ai, tu é que pensas que não?
Hey. Hey. I'm a firefox, thought Renato.
Por que precisas que eu vá contigo?
Estão-me a fazer as coisas e eu estava.
Ah, tá bem.
É o que tu me fazes ao jantar.
Tá. Vou continuar a tentar.
Estás na hora de jantar.
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we see this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and, oh, his only daughter. That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power.
Go.
Zenobia wasn't just the Emperor's daughter, of course. She'd been Renato's best friend in sword-fu school. And you're still mad for her, the rabbit reminded him. They'd been close.
Amiguinho.
She'd told him things no one else knew. But she never told him who she really was. She knows all the Emperor's plans, chuckled the master spy. She won't give them up easily. She'll tell the interrogators, all right, said Lapino. Taking her would change the game, all right.
Estás bem chata. Sai. Sai. Como é que és que eu me levanto? Vou jogar.
Faz favor.
Não vou pedir.
Ok, então fica aí a passar fome. Que nem um carneiro. Boi.
Não disseste para passar.
Não pode nada. Se não vais para a prisão, não queria.
The city was already under Zenobia's control.
Tu é que pareces.
Had to admire her efficiency. Renato shivered at the thought of Zenobia at the mercy of the
É
interrogators.
quando a minha prima não
Could he
conta.
really turn her over to them? But this was war. It wasn't meant to be pretty.
Tu és nada preguiçoso. Tu és pesado.
Zur. Cara de um urso. Zur. Cara de uma boneca. Rota, careca.
Como é que se chama esse jogo?
Tudo isto. Stories the Path of Destiny.